Hi, my wise astrology tribe, Cosmic Insight Astrology. I am back with a podcast, and today I'm going to talk about actually the lunar eclipse in Virgo, and it's going to be a total lunar eclipse in Virgo, 23 degrees. It's going to happen on March 14th, and it's also going to oppose Saturn in Pisces. Obviously, it's also going to oppose the sun because the lunar eclipse, when the sun and the moon are opposing each other in heaven, and Saturn happened to travel with the sun right now, conjunct with the sun right now in Pisces. And obviously, North Node is also over there, and Neptune is really close by. So that is a stellium in Pisces, and it's going to actually emphasize the Piscean energy as well. And we will talk about multiple fixed stars as well. The Virgo lunar eclipse also going to trine Uranus and Algol as well. And we're going to talk about two fixed stars, and one of them is going to be markup because of it's going to oppose with markup in Pisces. So what's happening over here, and what do we have to know about this eclipse? And also, I'm going to talk about each individual sign by itself as well. And I'm coming up with a meditation, a short meditation for you to let go, because the lunar eclipse, usually it's a fated event, something what is turning out negative for us, something what is really, really karmic, very fated, an unexpected event, which is like making us and pressing us to let go of something what doesn't serve us. At the beginning, we don't see, we have to let it go, and it could be some kind of painful realization, but later on it could actually serve us. And because of the lunar eclipse is, a very powerful full moon, it's going to bring culmination and ending in our life. It's going to actually highlight emotional shift and karmic closure with fated event for all of us. So as I said, it's opposed Saturn in Pisces, bringing a harsh reality check between practicality, like Virgo is very, very practical, and the dreamy illusioner Pisces, right? And Saturn itself is the Lord of Karma. It's also very, very practical and disciplined as well. But it also trines Uranus in Taurus, and Uranus in Taurus actually it's in fall, and it is an unexpected changeover here, a breakthrough, and a breakthrough in health and work on in our daily life. But in the other hand, what we really have to understand, Uranus in Taurus not doing very well because it's in fall. So the trine between the eclipse and Uranus not necessarily positive, right? Because Uranus could be malefic as well itself, unexpected chaos, the rebel. So it could bring in some kind of social unrest as well. And also we do have a fixed star Alkes in Virgo 23 degrees, and which is, anything to do with psychic abilities and spiritual inheritance, also ancestral gifts as well. So it is very, very positive, but we will see how is it going to unfold for us. And the eclipse itself not going to unfold the same day, guys. The eclipse is always going to say and tell a story within 18 months. So it's already started September 17, 2024 in Pisces, the eclipses, and it's going to end with a Pisces eclipse in August 28, 2026. So this eclipse season going to actually unfold during this time. And very important, how long the eclipse is going to take on, and where is the eclipse actually going through at this point. And you know what? I'm going to check it. Where is it going through? Just a second. Let me stop the Zoom actually and pause the Zoom. So I went to actually erected the chart to Greenwich, England also, but you know what, it doesn't matter because after that I checked where the eclipse going to be visible, and it's going to be visible actually in North and South America. and it's going to be really, really affecting this area. So it's going to affect, the whole entire South America, North America. Right now, what we have issues with Canada and America, the US and Mexico because of the tariff. And also the eclipse will be visible in the early morning in Greenland as well. So, because Greenland also in this kind of turmoil right now, as I see, because Trump wants to have Greenland as well, it's going to be it's going to be affected by this eclipse as well. So it doesn't matter if you are on the east or west side of the US, it's going to be affected, but it's going to be more visible from the Pacific side and less visible in the east side where I live actually in the US. So all right. So what can happen over there? So yes, we were talking about the fixed star Alkes, and I said it is actually ancestral gift and anything to do with psychic ability. But I didn't talk about the Virgo archetype, and I always like to talk about the Virgo archetype because it's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury actually is very analytical, and Virgo is very analytical as well. And it rules the sixth house, which is health and service for others and purification. And it is also anything to do with tenancy and pets and anything to do with healing and organization. It's also labor union. I'm just saying that because this eclipse could also indicate some kind of issues with rental properties and the price of the rental properties. And also it could have, because of its trining with Uranus, but Uranus is conjuncting Algol as well. So even if it's a trine, I told you guys, it could create chaos and rebellion energy. We will see a lot of social unrest. Today, I just opened the news because today I was doing a workshop. I was teaching, karma, everything about karma. That was the first day. It was over 5 hours. And, I already saw the news. There is a lot of social unrest because of they actually dissolved some kind of fund from universities, right? So they took it away. And obviously, young children, young adults are right now, rebelling against those kind of rules in the US. Yes, so definitely South and North America are going to have some kind of major shift with this eclipse over here. Okay, and what else can we talk about here? Yes, the archetype. On the other hand, we also have to know, the eclipse is going to happen from the 13th to the 14th overnight. And on the 14th, Mercury already going to station retrograde in Aries, right? It is on the next day. So Mercury rules this eclipse. So it's already in shadow. It is stationary already. So, anything to do with leading, misleading us, we also have to look into, for example, healthcare, because of sixth house also rules healthcare as well. So it could actually, something could come up with insurance companies, what was really, really misleading, or anything to do with the healthcare system. And sixth house in astrology, as I said, health and discipline and work and routine responsibilities. Uh, and over here, Virgo is really love structure and perfection in mundane perspective and in personal life as well. So the eclipse here could create some kind of chaos. It is letting go of something what doesn't serve us, or we are forced to let go. Sixth house is the workforce, guys. In America right now, they are letting go of a lot of people. How are they going to pay the rent if they don't have work? It could create a house market crash as well. And for example, six house themes in mundane business and personal astrology, like it is your coworkers, your duties, your health and wellness, anything to do with your mentorship, your tenants, anything to do with service professional, and anything to do with landlords and what else I said, labor union, private hospitals. So those are all going to be affected, right? All right. And then we have to also see the sixth house, also the military service and the public health and also disease outbreaks. Guys, that is also not just employee and labor union, the working class, the blue collar jobs and the unions over here, but military service as well, and domesticated animals and livestock industries. For example, the chickens, Mercury, especially we could have some kind of issues with chickens and eggs again. We could also have some kind of issues with military itself, right? Some kind of outbreaks of disease. But I would think it could be some kind of agricultural, with farming, with chickens again. Maybe we're going to have a bird flu, and it's going to affect all the eggs right now, and we have to get rid of it, or definitely because of their letting go of also the working class, the blue collar jobs as well. AI is taking over slower. It's obvious we're going to have a lot of resistance here. Yes, and in business, this is the health and safety standards over here, employee satisfaction and productivity, right? Policies, for example, and it's all going to get affected. On the other subject, what does it rule? In medical astrology, the sixth house, it's your gut, it's your digestion, it's your intestines, Virgo domain. Also, it could be something to do with your nervous system as well, because Mercury could be the way you are processing information. It also could be like stress related illnesses. And, because of the pressure from the work, we are overwhelmed. And also, that is your diet as well, the food that you eat. It also rules the grain fields as well. And it also rules actually occupational health risk, occupational hazards as well. So we might going to hear about some kind of occupational hazard in some kind of industries. And let's go move forward and talk about Mercury, the mythological side and the archetype of the sixth house, the ruler of the sixth house. Mercury is embodying anything to do with intellect, communication, and, efficiency. Mercury also the petty thief as well. Mercury in Greek mythology is Hermes, god of communication, trade, and also boundaries as well. He was the only god who could travel freely between Olympus and Earth and the underworld as well, and making him actually the guide for the souls, right? In Roman mythology, Mercury governed trade and merchant and contracts as well, anything to do with sixth house related, work related businesses. He was a trickster, as I said. He is very, very symbolizing mental agility and the trickster itself is the petty thief as well. Mercury is the analyst, the messenger, the healer as well, because Mercury had knowledge of medicine, guys, herbs, holistic health, that is really aligning with the Virgo archetype, what I was talking about. He has actually a sharp problem-solving skills, and I shouldn't say he, because Mercury is the only planet who is gender-free, so it doesn't have gender, right? But it could master skills through repetition, for example. It's a lifelong learner, and Mercury could be really efficient worker as well, right? All right. On the other hand, what is the ultimate sixth house lesson over here? Master your knowledge. That is with repetition. Master your skills in the field of, for example, anything to do with adaptability service for others, and communication as well, because we are talking about Mercury. We were talking about Alkes already, and Alkes actually is a fixed star, which is conjunct the eclipse. Alkes represents a sacred vessel of knowledge, inheritance, and artistic psychic gifts, carries something precious to pass on, and prophetic ability. And it trines with Uranus, and Uranus actually going to activate these sudden downloads of insight, unexpected discoveries, and spiritual awakening for us. And it's also going to oppose actually Markab in Pisces. Markab actually is honor, riches, and fortune. But you know, Markab also has a side of violent accident and fever and cats. So we might going to learn about some kind of accident, and because of it is also where is it? So it is in Uranus is in Taurus. So it's sextile with Uranus, and Uranus could be anything to do with UFOs or helicopters or airplane. It could indicate more issued with, for example, airplane crash, helicopter crash, or drone violence, something to do with, because sixth house is military drone accidents, right? With this kind of situation. But markup could be honor as well and fortune as well, symbolizing that, okay? It symbolizes double-edged sword, so that's why it could be honor, riches, and fortune, but also violent accident as well. So that is a double-edged sword, so it can hurt you. It is potential for reward and potential for danger as well. And the Sabian symbol of the 24th degree of Virgo, it is Mary and her white lamb. White lamb is innocence, right? It's purity, it's devotion, guys. And you know, it is Mary in Virgo, it's the virgin, nurturing, but you know, perfectionist nature. It reflects the Virgonian nature and the innocence of the virgin over them. Also could indicate the need to balance intellect with compassion. All right, and tied to service and protection and guiding others. This eclipse marks a moment of, you know, to change something in our health or work environment or the way we are doing our spiritual duty. Saturn opposition definitely pushes us to take some kind of realistic actions, and why Uranus trine allow for some kind of breakthrough with unrest, for example, breakthrough to to dissolve boundaries. Okay, and the Mercury stationary retrograde, it's also really going to amplify. Like right now, we have to, for example, reflect on our decisions in the past, and maybe, you know, we need to realign with something what you know did in the past. And we have to realign with something what we learned in the past, for example. Karmic gifts or responsibilities from the past may resurface right now. And some must carry it forward, while others must be released. On the mundane perspective, a total lunar eclipse opposing Saturn in Pisces could manifest in various events, and we always going to check actually geopolitical events in my videos as well. And also I always talk about natural disasters as well, if it is relevant, right? So because of we have extreme weather event, you know, Virgo lunar eclipse is opposing Pisces and opposing Saturn over there, even Neptune, right? So what could it bring in? Climate-related disasters and anything to do with coastal and water-sensitive regions, right? So Pisces is the ocean, and you know it is going to be disturbance, flooding, right? Some kind of flood damages. Um, and we're going to have some kind of practical solution and crisis response, because that is Virgo. Virgo is very practical and want to have some solution right away, right? The earth and the water are clashing over here, right? Severe weather event. It could be mudslide, earth and water. typhoons and hurricanes and even floods. Even, it could be floods on the Philippines, for example. I was watching a lot of documentaries, which is saying, within 10 years, the Philippines going to be in really, really great danger because of the water is rising, right? So definitely it could be the warm sea temperature could actually create typhoons like category 4 and 5 and even bigger ones. You remember, the Typhoon Haiyan in 2013, which cost actually $2 billion damages and also 6,000 deaths. So something to do with similarity during this time, right? Because of we going to have North Node in Pisces, and that is the Great Flood. And major hurricanes in the southern US, for example, in the Gulf of Mexico, anything which is going to strike Florida. We remember, unfortunately, Hurricane Katrina and Ian, and actually I lived through it. And there was actually $112 billion of damage. I would say, and I would think we're going to have a lot more hurricanes during this summer in Florida. Monsoons, flooding, water crisis in India and Pakistan, right? And even European countries, Mediterranean flash flooding because of the tremendous amount of snow are going to start to melt during this time, after the eclipse. The second eclipse is going to happen end of March, and we have to count 6 weeks from there on, and that is when actually at least 6 weeks from there on, and that is when everything is melting, and it could actually create flash flood all over, right? So yes, we did have actually a historical parallel in Greece, 2023. It was catastrophic flood from the storm Daniel, and also Venice flood in 2019, right? We remember that as well. So yes, the Europe is not going to get away from flooding also. It could also bring in some kind of agricultural challenges. Why do I say that? Because crop failures, food shortage, right? And price going to hike. Why? It's not only because of the tariff, but it's also going to be because of the flood. And, I talked about the Philippines and I talked about Asia, and it is going to go under flood. Obviously, the rice and the crop over there going to actually, the harvest going to be really, really um, hard, and the climate change over there could restrict the resources, right? Because of we got flood, and the supply chain going to be decreasing because of we're not going to have it's under flood, and we won't be able to get that. Yes, so monsoon seasons definitely it's one scenario, and also the rice and wheat yields drop, affecting global grain supplies. Anything to do with India, because India is also one of the world's largest exporters of those kind of grains and rice and wheat. And, also anything to do with Asia countries over there. And unfortunately, monsoons are there. So we could have some kind of issues with wheat export, right? Because of the poor harvest. All right, and then obviously we can also have some kind of issues because of the eclipse gonna go through Brazil as well, and Brazil has a lot of coffee and soybean, right? So soybean crops and coffee plantation could be destroyed during this time. And actually Saturn and its opposing Saturn representing undeveloped land, and also it's representing coffee plantation as well. So I would think something going to happen with soybean and coffee, but is going to increase the price, right? And if you remember, we had a coffee crisis because of Brazil coffee crisis in 2021, because there was actually a frost and heavy rains, which actually lead to decrease the coffee export from Brazil, and Brazil provides 60% of coffee globally. Guys, if something happens over there, wow. And I'm saying that because I'm like obsessed with coffee, like I have a very bad addiction to caffeine. And, waterborne diseases, outbreaks, because health crisis, sixth house is health, right? And it's opposing Saturn in Pisces, which is, it could be waterborne disease. And it could be something to do with infections, maybe because of, lack of sanitations, right? Um, but it could bring in epidemic as well because of Pisces ruled by Neptune as well, which is actually viruses and epidemics as well. So the flooding, and because of when we have flooding, the pipes are breaking, and the feces, the waste is going into the water, in our water, and obviously there could be some kind of issue with outbreak, right? Because of this kind of weather events. And let's talk about the Middle East conflict, because I always told you guys, Ukraine and Russia, after the Mars going to go direct 6 weeks after, it's going to come to some kind of negotiation, right? It seems like right now Zelensky said, okay, all right, we agree, we cannot continue the war anymore. I don't know because I didn't check the news today, but like I'm reading a lot, but that's what my last news and my last information. So most likely it will. But I always told you that, guys. Besides the fire, the ceasefire in Gaza, it's not going to be that easy. And you can see what is going between Israel and Palestine. And it might not going to be what we've been told over there. Obviously, it could get worse. And why? For example, not all the oh my God, I forgot the word. Not all the uh, people been released. Um, for Israel yet, right? And also some of them died. And the other thing is Palestinian already went back when they said it's ceasefire. They don't want to leave their land. And Trump has that idea. He wants to do some, and he wants to create some kind of Trump Tower, luxury hotels, and I don't know. And oh my God, when I heard it, I was like, "Are you kidding me? How dare you?" But sometimes I have to laugh because otherwise I feel sometimes like it's a comedy, and I feel like this is not the real issue what they want to like they just want to have some kind of distraction. That's what I feel. But anyway, okay, this is a plan right now. Obviously, Arabic countries are not going to allow that, and most likely not either European. But I do believe it's going to bring in some kind of, settlement with Russia and Ukraine. And somehow I don't see the Middle East actually to have breaks, and to have actually, it's gonna be more hatred over there. And I'm going to actually later on share a few charts with you guys, because I want to tell you where is it affecting Israel, or where is it going to affect Palestine, or Iran, or Lebanon, or the US as well, and Trump. We can check actually Trump chart as well. So we will see, or Netanyahu, whoever, I always talk about that. But yes, like for example, trade disputes, US-China tariff. It's a tariff war right now. It's going to escalate right now. And US wants to put tariff on the European goods as well. I'm European American, I'm Hungarian American, and I have some favorite things what I buy in European stores, and some of the European stores already closed because of they cannot afford anymore because of the price went up. Nobody can afford it. Obviously, it's not going to affect the rich people because they are served, they are given everything. It's granted for them, right? So they don't care about that. But for us, it is a big issue over here. So we are not going to have all European goods because it's not going to be available. But for example, um, All right, so there could be some kind of, it was some kind of tariffs also on Chinese microchips as well and electric vehicle batteries as well, right? And rare earth metal that is actually protect US manufacturing. And, it's coming from China. So it's very, very critical. It's raw material and it's going to affect the tech industries, guys. So no matter what, tech industries is like Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, they're going to struggle with supply shortage, delaying production. So come on. And that's going to affect then the stock market, right? It's not, and NASDAQ, right? Tech stock. So guys, it's really when they are saying we're going to have a little bit of flashback, not flashback, but setback. It's not gonna be a little bit of setback. Come on, if you are letting go so many employees, they're not capable to pay their mortgage or rent, what are they gonna do? The crime is going to rise. This is crazy. Yes, but in historical parallel, we already had a trade war with China when Trump was in office before between 2018 and 20, and the US tariff led to 250 billion in losses and global market instability. So, it's going to create some kind of major losses for the US. And you know what the Mexican president said, because I was watching the news, and she's so beautiful, she's so nice, but she said, and very intelligent, we're going to buy our supplies from other country. If you are putting tariffs on us, it's all right. We have another 150 country or more so where we can buy our supplies. We okay, we will be okay. Don't worry about that. So, the stock market volatility, global it could have experienced actually a heavy swing right now, Wall Street, so we will see, but for example, the Japan's Nikkei index could crash, right? Weaken the yen right now, and Dow Jones also will be dropping a lot of point as well. And do you remember when I said because of Mars retrograde and Mars in fall in Cancer, we're going to have actually, and because it's in the US 8th house, which is stock, mortgage, and interest rate, it's going to drop. So today it's 4.2. So as I said, it's dropped. And right now it's also created, the house market is more affordable. I'm looking for houses and 60, 70, 80,000 lakhs are the houses in Florida. And it's really a buying market right now. It's still high, it's still in kind of bubble. But anyway, it's a buying market, definitely. But because it's trine to Uranus and because of it's an eclipse is never great. It could be some kind of change in financial market. And because Uranus also in fall, cryptocurrencies and AI stocks can struggle right now and could have some kind of market losses. All right, and then let's see, the currency instability as well, because of Uranus is in Taurus, and Taurus ruled by actually Venus, and Venus rules currency. So, for example, the Turkish lira is record low right now, right? And it could be like foreign investors withdraw because they are fearing unstable central bank policies, and interest rate manipulation, right? So that could be the Saturn in Pisces, weak government intervention and delaying necessary monetary policy reforms. So that is happening not just in Turkey but around the world, right? So also the Argentine pesos also collapsing, there could be some kind of social unrest as well. Well, we will see what's going to devaluation of the peso. We will see what's gonna happen, and also there could be some kind of food shortage as well in Argentina. So then the technological disruption, what I was talking about, and the cybersecurity issue, the threats of the data bank, and actually breaking the data breaches, hacking, and Elon Musk guys, those kind of young children children who actually, he hired the ones who actually break into his data. That was funny, right? Because they could break in his data. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? But, because of Musk right now, what is he doing? The Tesla stock is went back to like, I don't know, lost like 20%. So everybody is boycotting Tesla. It's not everybody, but a lot of people boycotting Tesla. So we will see what's going to happen over there, but it could be some kind of major issues. And we can actually check also mask astrology chart as well, because I'm curious what's happening over there. But also political scandals, corruption exposed, in major governments. Why? Because Pisces is hidden, and Saturn over there could be something to do with government, but because of it is sextile and creating a wedge with the eclipse and Uranus, there could be some kind of hidden agendas, which is something is coming to be uh, um, unfold, and not unfold but on the surface, and we will be capable to see that, and it's creating social unrest, and it could be also some kind of political bribery, some kind of political scandal, like who bought what, who bought this election and that election, and it's around the world. I'm not saying in America, but everywhere around the world. And it could be also we are hearing about corporate money laundering, illegal campaign funding as well. So we will see what's happening. It could be actually the Dodge, like Elon is really trying to see what's going on, and they're going to how many corruption is behind the scenes. So we will see. I am just looking, and yeah, I cannot do anything else right now, just laugh. But we will see what's going to happen. But definitely there will be something to do with illegal campaign funding as well, and large scales of protest, guys, large scales, because Uranus is involved over here. But because Saturn is in Pisces, it could be like delays in legal actions, so I don't know. We will see, but it could be. Okay, all right. And then transportation strikes. Why? Saturn is also transportation. It is metros. It is anything to do with trains, right? As well. The rails, the railroads, European railroads, railways as well. So we can actually, and because of Uranus is airlines, Uranus is air travel, right? Drones and helicopters and air. So it could be some kind of labor disruption in Europe and in America, everywhere, Germany, French, everywhere. So we will see, because of the low wages, and the unsafe working conditions as well. And that could actually lead to more catastrophic event with airplanes, because we don't have enough people who are working. They are overwhelmed, they are tired, right? So if they are also going on strike, well, yeah, we will see what's going to happen. We're not going to be able to travel. But it could be also some kind of energy crisis, because Neptune and Saturn are most conjuncting, and in Pisces, Pisces is anything to do with natural gas and also oil as well. So it could bring in some kind of shortage. For example, Japan could face some kind of oil crisis, because they can have shortage because they buy from the Middle East, and the tension in the Middle East actually could affect, like some kind of shortage for Japan or whoever buying from them. And in 1973, Japan was heavily impacted, because we had a historical parallel over there with oil crisis, and it was also an eclipse due to this. And as I said, economic protest, and economic protest all over the world, guys. It's not just in America, right? But everywhere. And if you remember the Yellow Vest protest in France in 2018 and 19, uh, we going to have to stand up, because of they want to try to push away. It still feels like Pluto just went to Aquarius, and we have to claim our humility, humanity, and the power from us, and not letting back into the hand of like privileged elite, right? And the seismic activity with Uranus also could actually increase. And, actually, it's in the side of America on the Pacific as well, a lot of earthquake, for example, and anything to do also with hurricanes or tsunamis as well could happening right now because of Uranus is involved, right? And because of Pisces rules immigration, there could be some kind of clashes because of immigration and immigration policy conflicts. Uh, so we will see, but the US border security policies are tightened right now, and that could lead to human rights concerns. And in Germany also, what I see, they are enforcing stricter asylum law right now, and it could actually indicate migrant protest as well, right? And it could bring in some kind of migrant crisis in Europe, a new tension. And if you remember, in 2015, we experienced that. All right, guys, so let me actually try to share some chart with you. And it is late, but and tomorrow I'm going to have to start again. But let me see, share. Okay, so this is here, but no, not this one. No. Just a second, I'm not gonna share this. Let me just check first what I want to share with you. Okay, yes, let's go to Trump. All right, everybody, or maybe nobody is interested anymore. I don't know, but I just gonna share it anyway. And I just going to check actually here is Trump. Where is Trump? Where are you? Here. All right. Okay, here is Trump, right? So where is the eclipse going to happen for him? It's going to happen in Virgo for him in 23 degrees, and it's opposing Saturn and the transit north node and the sun. So that's the king over here. And Saturn is, could be, and the north node over here, that is his progress, that is his purpose right now. And actually, it could cut out something what he wanted to do, and it's not gonna move forward. It could also bring in some kind of financial issue, financial crisis. Because of him, the stock market could crash, or because of him, it could be something to do with immigration policies. Right? It could bring in a lot of death of for example, migrate people who are deported, but somehow it could lead to some kind of unfair treatment and death as well. On the other hand, Pisces and eighth house, also anything to do with Carter, right? So I would be, Carter could be also an issue for him in personal life as well. But on the other hand, let me see, Uranus is on his MC. And even if the eclipse is trining, it's a lunar eclipse, it's a fated event. Uranus's are here. So, it's creating a wedge between Saturn, the north node, Sun over here, and also the moon here. And he has his progress sun actually in 9 degrees Virgo. So obviously we are considering that progress sun as well, even if it's not going to do any conjunction. But by Vedic astrology, the energy it's traveling with this eclipse right now. So obviously there is some kind of downfall, perhaps because of it could be in his health, or it could be something to do with not necessarily just health, but also it could be the finances because of the law what he's making, right? So it could indicate that. So yes, it's not the best for him. On the other hand, I told you guys he's still in majestic danger. This man is in danger. So he has, for example, progress moon in Scorpio in 20 degrees, progress sun in 9 degrees, and progress Saturn in 3 degrees, actually in Leo. And Mars soon going to come over here on the Saturn and going to oppose Pluto. So it could indicate multiple assassination for this man. All right, let me see other people over here, and let me see. Not DeSantis, let me see. America and after Netanyahu and Israel. Here is America for you. America has a Sagittarius rising. Virgo is the leadership, it's the government over here, and it's going to happen. The eclipse going to happen actually in the 10th house. So the next 18 months, there is going to be a lot of government employees going to be fired, guys, right? So that's what Dodge doing actually. This is indicating, yes, but also it could actually create an issue with the recent government who is sitting in right now. So it could create some kind of dissolve of the recent government the next 18 months somehow, or change in the recent government, right, in the leadership over there. So we will see, but it could indicate that as well. All right, so this is the US over here. And in the fourth house, we have Saturn, North Node, Neptune opposition with this eclipse over here. So definitely it is like defend of the land. It's very, very important. You know, immigration, politics, defend of the land from Carter because of Pisces is anything to do with narcos and anything to do with like drugs. So yes, it is like it could be a new policy over there, and they are defending the land. Send the SEALs, the Navy over there, right? Saturn is the general by the border to fight. All right, let me see what else is happening here. Neh representing Bibi Netanyahu. And let me see where is Virgo for him. Virgo for him, he's a Sag rising also. Virgo, actually, the eclipse gonna happen on his midheaven. Wow. All right then. Okay, so if you are an Israeli person, I have some friends, actually a lot of friends, who hates this politician over here, and then it could be a good news to you because of the eclipse on the midheaven usually takes out the person. So it's withdrawing him from the job, it's withdrawing him from position. All right, guys? And because of its opposing to the land, it's opposing to the fourth house is ruled by Cancer and the moon, right? In general, and the moon is the public, it's the nation, it's the people, it's the general people. So it's opposing that. So it is because of the fourth house matter. It could be like the people of Israel doesn't want him anymore and removing him from perhaps position. All right. Well, we will see, right? But definitely Netanyahu can have very, very difficult time as well. All right, let's see. And karma, if he's not careful, when Jupiter goes on Uranus, it can activate very, very bad karma for him, especially because it's squaring with his Libra planets, with the 11th house of planets, and he has a stellium over there. So really soon it could come through anyway. And then I want to see, maybe let's see Russia. What's gonna happen for Russia? All right, Russia has a Leo ascendant as well, very early Leo ascendant. So Pluto is going to oppose Mars, and Mars on the ascendant, that's not necessarily good over there. So, but on the other hand, Virgo, it's going to happen, the eclipse on Vesta. And it is, does it? Yeah, it's actually square with Mars in the fifth house. So there could be some kind of issue with finances. The war actually took a lot of money from Russia. That's what I believe over here. So some kind of financial restriction perhaps over there, or maybe because of the need to support themselves financially somehow, or get some kind of financial aid for military. And because of anything to do, Sagittarius is anything to do with liberation and freedom. So it could be liberate themselves through some kind of military helicopters or planes or whatever and buying, but somehow it's going to put a lot of strain on the economy, because they invest in war. That is what it is. All right, and then let me see what's going on with Putin. What's going to happen with Putin, guys? I mean, he seems to be healthy right now. All right, let's see. So it is happening in the 11th house. 11th house is luck, right? And it's also a high VIP class and the elite over here. So actually, it is affecting his reputation with the elite right now. Who is he connected with? And as I say, it's also going to square with his Mars as well. So it indicates some kind of not getting financial support anymore for his war as well, not just Ukraine, but him as well going to suffer. So they can have to come to a term to end the war. Definitely, they have to come to end the war right now. But you see, so I did see something in Putin chart, and actually Jupiter gonna go to the moon, and it's opposing Mars. So there could be he can lose someone who is a female figure and close to him, for example, right? So it could be that. Yes, but what I wanted to say, something to do with Putin health. Oh yes, because of the ascendant is in 4 degree, and we have Pluto, and the Pluto and the ascendant is squaring right now, and also it's opposing Mars and gonna oppose Mars, and Mars is actually gonna go to the 10th house. So definitely there could be a health related indication soon for him, you know, with that grand, not grand cross, but actually it is a T square with the ascendant. So there could be some kind of heart related issue or poisoning related issue, also some kind of neurological event, heart attack or stroke or something like that could come into his karma right now. Soon, actually, pretty soon. We will see, you know, because it has to happen within 3 months. And if it's not happening in 3 months, he going to live a little bit longer, you know, not a little bit, but then he can. But there is just an indication right now in the chart as well. All right, let me see something else here. So Putin, but I seen something else. I just forgot. I wanted to show you guys. So let me see, for example, Israel, right? And Elon Musk, just for a second over here. I don't want to talk a lot, but Israel has actually Virgo in the 12th house. It's hidden enemies, guys, hidden enemies, and actually something to do with the military. So Israel's military hidden enemies against, you know, and it's also health and hospitals as well. So, you know, and the worker people. So it could indicate some kind of strike on the military, for example, this eclipse. And also because of this eclipse is also, look at that, it's squaring Uranus in the ninth house. So that could be some kind of drone event, or it could be some kind of, because this is a bomb and it's also, oh my God, what is that? I always forget that one word I forget. You know, explosion of nuclear issues over here. So it could indicate some kind of explosion of nuclear bombs or something like that. Not necessarily bombs, but you know, drones and attacking them secretly behind the scene. They don't see, it doesn't matter because Uranus is actually to do anything to do with electronics. And if we have a lot more solar flares, you know, it's going to be easy to hack the electronics. There is a lot of amazing genius in other countries. So, you know, they think they see, but actually it's not necessarily that what's happening over there. All right, so let me see over here. Elon Musk. Let's see Musk and let's see to Palestine also a little bit. I want to see Palestine, maybe Iran and Lebanon. Okay, here is Musk, you know. Yeah, well, let me see where is it gonna happen. So Virgo is actually in the third house. Oh, on Pluto, it's very close to Pluto. He will be muted. He won't be able to, because third house is contract and policies, and it could be something to do with he might will be cut out, or he might will be told, you know, not to talk a lot or not to give briefs or things like that. Somehow I feel like this is contracts over here. He might be not be able to actually fire employees. Maybe he will advise, but not necessarily do what he did before, right? So I feel like from the law, ninth house is law, the decision makings, he will be cut out somehow, kicked out somehow from here. We will see. But that's what I feel. Okay, and does it do anything? Yes, actually, with Ceres, it's okay. Ceres is not that important in this matter, so we're not gonna talk about that. But yes, he might not gonna have that much publicity what he thought he will have before. All right, let's go to who is here. Lebanon, Palestine. Let's see Palestine over here. All right, it's going to happen actually in the what house? Virgo in the eighth house. Oh my God, that's not good. I'm so sorry. This is mortality of the country. So the mortality could increase right now for Palestinian people. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's, they could, as I said, the ceasefire might not going to be ceasefire. They might going to start again and kill people who went back to their, land, and it could increase the death, unfortunately. So we can actually accept that, unfortunately. And let me see if we want to do, yeah, let's see Lebanon over here. And we can also see the UN maybe, or the EU. The EU we can see. Okay, that is Lebanon. And, oh, that is a moon return. Lebanon, the people strike, and actually strike against government or some kind of regime, because that is Saturn and Mars conjunction, and it could be some kind of regime over there, which is going to create also some kind of difficulties and hardship for the people of Lebanon. So the average people, the public, could suffer through this eclipse actually, unfortunately. And the hidden enemies and the open enemies actually opposing the open enemy, Saturn over here, Sun and North Node. So this could indicate, like a clear attack by open enemies for this country. And, some kind of hardship because of the recent government as well. All right, let me see if the EU is here, the European Union, what's going to happen for the Union, guys. All right, Virgo second house, it's a Leo rising. All right, is it going to create any hardship for the European Union? Let's see. Well, not yet. Not yet, because it's in 24 degrees, and actually it is going to trine with the moon. But Uranus is on the moon, which is the people of the European Union. Uranus is rebellion and boundaries. And so I would think there will be actually countries who are going to get out from the European Union. It's not going to dissolve yet, but it's going to be a few countries who is going to step out, and they don't want to be part of the union anymore. All right, so I think that's it, guys. And right now we're going to talk about all individual signs, right? Okay. All right, then March 14th, full moon, total lunar eclipse. We are in eclipse season, guys. All right, so it's a full moon total lunar eclipse, and it's going to be in Virgo 23 degrees. The lunar eclipse also actually tied to the nodes, the lunar nodes, the north node and the south node. Eclipse, this is the full moon eclipse, a fated event, which is fated. It's not changeable. It's not something what you can work out. It's an ending. It's a karmic ending. It's a sudden ending. And usually it's negative, and it's going to happen in Virgo in your sixth house. So the lunar eclipse here, and it is a full moon eclipse. So we have the Pisces in the sun in Pisces, the moon in Virgo. it could bring in like you lose a pet, for example, a pet could pass away, or, you know, like you can lose a rental property, for example, giving up renting, or, you know, you don't want to be a landlord anymore, or you don't want to be a renter anymore, you want to buy a house, it could mean as well. Or it could mean like, you know, like you giving up a work because the work is give you money paycheck by paycheck and it didn't really serve you, so you are giving up this money. But or not necessarily see that you can get fired during this time, but don't worry, because something better is coming for you, because you're going through a spiritual change. Some secret money is here for you, hidden. Something, you know, even with Venus, some kind of jewelry you can find which is like, wow, it has a lot of value, I don't have to work anymore, some kind of situation like that. You know, I'm just trying to brainstorm for you here. All right, and then this full moon lunar eclipse, what else could it be? Anything to do with your daily routine. You are giving up something what was really annoying, very Virgo-like, very particular, and it didn't serve you. It didn't bring you accomplishment, and actually, it didn't make you productive during this time as well. You want to give up also household responsibilities as well. Maybe you're going to hire a cleaning service because you don't want to cook, or you don't want to clean anymore your own house as well. So it's you know, like it could give up, and you know, it could be your employees, so it could be also your nanny or your cleaning lady is you know, just gonna leave you, or you know, God forbid something would happen with them, but it could mean that as well, of course. You know, and then also it could be something like I'm giving up my membership, yoga membership, because I did Brickman yoga and I don't want to be in a germ pit where I can inhale other people, you know, sweat anymore, because I don't think so. It's providing me anything good. It's not a good energy. That's what I think. But you know, who knows? Something like that. Maybe you had a juice bar and somehow you don't make enough money and you just close the shop, something like this, which is a fated event, guys, as well, as I said. So it could be a lot of things happening, but you could be burned out right now from work, from routine, and it becomes boring for you. And you being in Aries, you don't like to be bored, so you need to actually unwind, and you need something, activity, and it could be like, okay, I'm done with this boring crap and let's move forward. March 14th, we're going to have the full moon total lunar eclipse in Virgo. So it's going to happen in your fifth house, and it's the total lunar eclipse. So it's going to bring actually a closure over here, and it is with the South Node together by energy wise. Because of the eclipse gonna happen 23 degree and the South Node is still 29, 28 degrees, but it's already a conjunction. So anything to do with a creative project, with a manager, anything to do with children, with your romantic life, with your hobbies, it could actually, and because of Virgo rules health and wellness as well, and Virgo also rules daily routines and what is that? Rental properties, landlords, work, health, daily routine, your dogs as well, small pets. So it could come to a closure with a relationship, or it could come to a closure, like, for example, with the pets, unfortunately. It could come to like you have an empty nest and the childs are moving forward, something like that. But it is, you know, the eclipse is a fated event, and usually the full moon eclipse are turning out to be negative, unfortunately, something what we are not capable to. This is really karma, and especially because of relate to the sun. So it is really karma, but you know, like we need to let go of things to grow, because we didn't see, and we were desperately, you know, like being attached with something, and we were not capable to heal or grow. So it could be like, for example, some of you might had lost a child already, and the grieving a child is the worst ever somebody could experience. And you know, it could be something like you're never gonna let that go, but somehow you let go of a certain way to connect with the one who passed on already or passed away. So it's going to be a different way to connect with the soul, with the spirit right now. But also it could be just like, all right, they are going just move out because they bought a house, or they are getting married, or it could be something also with a romantic life. Maybe even you had a lover and you are in relationship, committed relationship, and you have to let go of the lover because you want to save your marriage, things like that. Or you just don't want to have your manager anymore because of it didn't value you or didn't represented you the way you wanted to be represented, and you just letting go that. Or you are finishing a creative project, you already wrote that lyrics, you already wrote that book, and it's ready to get published. And then we're going to have the full moon total lunar eclipse in Virgo, guys. So we're going to put that here in your third house. As I said, it's connected to the nodes. So what is the lunar eclipse? It's an ending, it's a closure, it's a loss, and it's a fated event. And actually Virgo sextiling with you in energy-wise. But anything to do with loss, anything to do with fated event, what you cannot control, it's out of your reach, it's unexpected, and it could be an ending, right? So the lunar eclipses, this is going to be a total lunar eclipse, so it's going to be really, what is it gonna do? It's going to cover the moon, and then it's going to have some kind of red hue, right? And it's gonna be dark for a while. And usually on lunar eclipse, I'm not charging my crystals, not going out, because I don't want to be associated with losses. I do use a lot of salt and saging during this time. So anything to do with free house matter, what is free house matters? You might going to end up moving out from what is that, a neighborhood, a community. If you've been a leader in your community, you might going to lose the position. It could be also like you might going to have a neighbor passing or a community leader, maybe your mayor could pass as well, and it's influencing the city, influencing the people. The moon is the people. And it could be also like, you know, the moon is also dog, so obviously it could be like, you know, like your dog runs away, for example. It could be also in some cases, you know, like a project, something what you worked on. Maybe you did an online school and it's disappearing from your online, and you cannot recover it. Something to do with software application, but you cannot recover. And, you know, it could go extreme cases, which I don't want to talk about, but, you know, it's relatives, niece, nephew, aunt, uncles, and younger siblings. So obviously it could, you know, mean a lot more things, but I'm not necessarily want to talk about this. Then we're going to have the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. So guys, the eclipses are strongly associated with the nodes and the nodes movements. If the nodes are in Pisces and Virgo, we're gonna have the eclipses in Pisces and Virgos. The lunar eclipse, it's a full moon on steroids. The lunar eclipse is a fated event. It is something chaotic and unexpected, which is usually turns out to be negative. It's completion, but negative. And the solar eclipse is always an unexpected, fated event, but turning out to be positive. And it's a new moon. All right, so right now it's going to happen, the lunar eclipse, which is a full moon, right, in Virgo. So we have the sun in Pisces, we have the moon in your second house. What could it be? A fated change which could turn out negative in this way? You know, it could be something to do with your earnings. You might going to lose an earning opportunity, maybe one of your side job. It could be because second house is your possession and material possession. So you might going to lose, for example, a ring or something valuable could be stolen or lost, and you're going to be upset about that. Yes, and then, like investment, anything to do with if you invested in something before, then it could be like, wow, all right, there is a loss over there. If you chose the wrong bookkeeper, Virgo is bookkeeper, you chose the wrong bookkeeper, I know you're going to have some kind of additional tax to be paid. And, it could be like, oh my God, she didn't do the papers for 2 years, and right now I own for IRS $100,000. So it could be that as well. Instead of to bring joy, like it's giving you some kind of challenges, something with creditors, something with finances, definitely, or your saving. Second house is your saving account, whatever is that. So be careful with what is that? Identity theft, or someone can get on the bank account, or if you have safe at home, somebody can get into that. Just be mindful during this time. And then we're going to have a total full moon lunar eclipse, and it's going to happen in your sign, guys. So the moon is going to be in your sign, in your first house. Here is the south node also. It's going to happen actually in what degree going to be the lunar eclipse? I think it's going to be 23. Yes, 23 degrees. So it's late degrees, right? Because it's March 14th, so the sun, yes, it's late degrees, it's 23 degrees. Yes, I'm right. So the sun and the moon is opposing each other. So you have to let go of something about you. And, it's an illumination. So what I have to tell about the eclipses, I already told you it's connected with the nodes, but also it's a fated event. It's almost like a karmic fated event, unexpected, which is bringing in chaos. The full moon lunar eclipses, the lunar eclipses are full moons in sky. The solar eclipses are new moons in the sky. The full moon is when the sun and moon opposition, the new moon when the sun and moon conjunct each other. But the full moon is a fated event which usually turns out to be negative and sad. And the new moon is usually an unexpected fated event, but it's coming like it's very positive. So for example, because we're working with axes, I'm just going to see an example over here. So the new moon eclipse, for example, could be like, okay, I get pregnant and I didn't want to get pregnant, but when I find out, then I'm very happy about that, and I'm gonna keep the baby, and I can be more happier. It's not the right time, but whatever. The lunar eclipse could be the same, like I'm getting pregnant, but it is the worst time. I can't have it. I have some health issues, and if I keep the baby, then my health in jeopardy. It could be an ectopic pregnancy, actually, which could obviously kill us, right? If you are a woman. So it could be like it has to be, begun, the baby, it aborted, and it's bringing in some kind of sadness or loss of a pregnancy. But it is just one example. I just wanted to tell you how does it working, and the difference between the lunar and solar eclipse. So in your first house, the the lunar eclipse could be anything to do with like, okay, my self-image has to change. Like, you know, the way I represented myself, it's not really powerful anymore. It's not who am I. I have to change because the world is changing around me and I have to change with it. Something to do about your self-confidence as well. Like you have to let go of some self-sabotaging behavior, perhaps some kind of self-criticism. It could be anything to do with perfectionism, because then you are not going to get from 1 to 2. You know, it's hard for you to go ahead and strive and succeed if you are paying so much attention on details and you get lost in details. And many times Virgo can do that. Yes, and then, you know, it's a shift over here um, uh, uh, to find some kind of clearer, you know, like way to succeed somehow, to become authentic. But while you are peeling off your ego, it could be hurtful, it could be painful, because you are dealing with your shadow side, perhaps, and or you were attached to something. Maybe you were attached to a partner, or you thought you can't live without that, but right now it's ending the relationship. And you know, this is something what you have to deal with. It's emotional, it's very, very emotional for you. All right, and then major transformation, definitely. You repurpose your goals in life. You know, what should you do? What do you have to let go? If do you need a different approach right now with your money, with your relationship, with your children, everything, with your home? It could be something with your home and living situation. I need to sell the house. I need to move because I don't want to live over there. Then we're going to have the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. So the moon actually is coming to your 12th house. You are leaving behind self-sabotaging behavior, substance abuse, fears. You perhaps you're not gonna have nightmares anymore, night terrors. It could be anything to do with bad self-talk, with, you know, obsession. Virgo could be really obsessive with cleaning, some kind of cleaning disorder, or any kind of you know, self-criticism, and criticism is going to be left behind. You know, subconscious patterns, which is like annoying, and it's going to get healed and improved during this time. You can detoxify your life. You can start to detox. And, you know, Virgo could be wheat. So you might going to give up actually wheat, pasta, bread, and, you know, gluten, because you might want to get that out from your diet during this time. Now, March 14th, we're going to have the full moon total lunar eclipse in Virgo, guys. Here is the moon, full moon total lunar eclipse, and it's going to happen in 23 degrees in your 11th house. 11th house, anything to do with your friends, your groups, your organization, anything to do with your hopes, with your social circle. All right. So it is also legal issues over here. It's the court system itself. The moon over here could end actually an issue with court. Like right now it's coming for the term, and thanks God it's ended. You know, it could be also like you will need to let go of something charitable, you know, like you always help to certain society, and right now you found out, you know, they actually stealing the money, and you don't want to actually provide them more you know, financial assistance. Or it could be also like you did a fundraising and, you know, rising, and right now it's turned out positive and that's done. Or, you know, you had an event and thanks God it's ended because you worked on this event so long, and you know, you accomplished something. It could be like accomplished something and a bonus came to your way, or it could be some kind of gain from your career came to your way, and finally it's done and you are ready to move forward. You don't have to focus on it anymore. It's also luck here and lottery as well, and friendship. You might going to let go of people who don't actually reflect the same values as you are. So, it's not aligning with your values and morals, and you have to let go of those groups, So it could be that. And you are letting go of criticism as well, self-criticism, and that's good. Then we're going to have the full moon total lunar eclipse in Virgo, and it's going to happen in your 10th house. So here it is, the moon is coming up to Virgo. It is with the south node here. So, it could end a career, it could end a job, it could finish actually a career. As I said, some of you going to get retired. And it could be also like you just ending something. Maybe you are ending your political, career because you're done with that, you fed up with that. And it was too much responsibility and you just don't want to do that. But, it could be something to do with Virgonian situation, and Virgo actually rules the sixth house originally, right? And it is anything to do with, wait a minute, like your health, your work, your daily routine. So you're getting rid of some kind of strict routine. Maybe you are not, you don't have to actually anymore, commune to work, to your work. Maybe you can work from home right now because of a lot of emphasis on your fourth house. So you don't need to go to travel to work anymore. Maybe you're going to actually, it could be actually to change your name. If you divorced recently, you might going to change your name. You might going to change your name because you became a doctor and it's gonna be something before your name, like Dr. whoever. And then it could be also like, the way your public image is changing as well. So yeah, that could be that. But anything to do with Virgonian aspect, anything to do with health. You know what this is? Because 10th house is professional, because 10th house ruled by Capricorn Saturn, so it could be a doctor, a professional. And because of the full moon eclipse, the eclipse usually it's especially the full moon eclipse, it's like a full moon on steroid. It's unexpected, it's fated event, but we cannot actually control. And it's an ending, right? Not necessarily positive, but it could end, for example, a career. It could, but don't worry, because usually then you get a great opportunity with the next moon, which is going to be a solar eclipse here, and then it will be an amazing opportunity for promotion. So if your career ends right now, it's an amazing opportunity to someone else. Yes. All right, but I wanted to say something about health. Yes, so it could be like there is a doctor who is helping you to end an illness, for example, because you hired the right person or you hired the right professional with a divorce, and it's helping you to changing your name or changing your living situation. And your living situation could change as well, because the moon, it's represented in representing your home and living situation. Okay, then it could be like also, unfortunately for some people, ending and authoritative figures could pass during this time. March 14, we're going to have a full moon. The full moon is going to be an eclipse in Virgo. So it's coming to your 9th house, guys, the moon. And let's talk about eclipses. So eclipses are fated events, and eclipse is actually anything to do with ending. It is a fated, unexpected ending, what usually turns out to be negative. And it is something to do with a full moon in steroids. So the full moon eclipse is a full moon on steroid, which is fated, which is ending and turns out to be negative. What is the solar eclipses? This is the lunar eclipse.
The solar eclipses are a new moon on steroids. It's fated, it's unexpected, but it's new moon, it's a new beginning, which is turning out to be positive. Okay, so what could turn out over here to be negative in ninth house matters, in Virgo matters, right? Okay, anything to do with a visa, a citizenship, like maybe you're going to get denied and you will have to find another way. It's not necessarily permanent, but it could be bringing something with legal matter, citizenship, visa, anything to do with green cards, but somehow you get a negative news, and maybe later when the solar eclipse is going to happen in September or October, then you will be okay by that time. But right now, it could be a bad news. It could be also like you have maybe something with justice, and it could be justice against your dean if you are in university, maybe the priest or some church member here, temple member or leader, and somehow they are immune, they got immunity, and you could get very upset about that. All right. And then, also it could temporarily cease a relationship with an older siblings, all right. So what's happening? Your beliefs is ending as well. You're going to actually be fulfilled through spirituality, as I said. Maybe it is something to do with your publisher. You're going to cut the relationship with the publisher. Maybe if you are hired by another company, PR company, podcasting with someone together, you're going to have a disagreement and you're not going to do the podcast together. Or it could be also something to do with you fire your publisher because they do a crappy job. Also, there is something with cultures and the cultural expression, the way you are expressing yourself in your culture, within, your nationality. You might going to break off from that somehow. Maybe you're going to be ashamed of it, or maybe you're going to be just angry with the recent government, and somehow you don't want to be represented by that culture you're born into. So then we're going to have a full moon in, actually it's going to be a full moon total lunar eclipse in Virgo, guys, and Virgo is in your 8th house. So we're going to put this beautiful moon over here, and I'm going to talk about the moons a little bit. The full moon total lunar eclipse is when the moon is totally covered, right? And it's not seen for a few seconds in heaven, maybe half minute, sometimes it's a minute. Okay, so what does it mean? It's a full moon on steroids, but it's a fated, unexpected event, and the full moon is ending. It always brings in an unexpected, fated, negative event. The new moon is always an unexpected, fated, positive event, and it's also new moon on steroid. That is the solar lunar eclipse, right? So what's going to happen here for you? All right, so might not be a good news, it could be something to do with your bank account. It could be something to do with identity theft. So you might have to hire someone after this eclipse, because, it could be something disappeared from your bank account. Maybe your bank closed the windows and not giving out money because there is some kind of issue in your country. It could be also like you've been actually robbed somehow. Maybe the bookkeeper stole your social security number. So careful with bookkeepers, because Virgo is bookkeeper. Also, it could be, what else could it be? Something to do, because 8th house is miscarriage and abortion. Some of you might going to lose a pregnancy over here. It could be also like inheritance. So, you know, some of you going to lose maybe a person, a parent, or you know, someone who could leave inheritance on you. But it also could be something to leave behind tax or debt issues. But you might going to have to go to audition for tax return, because they're gonna call you in, and you know your previous year taxes is not aligning, and you have to go, and you know, on the red carpet. I call everything red carpet when it's like very inconvenient to go there, you know. All right. You can actually let go of toxic attachment, because 8th house is actually something to do with obsession, maybe sexual addiction. It could be also during this time. You can, however, start a parasite cleanse, because it would really help you to get healed, because Virgo is healing. So it could be some kind of parasite cleanse and you will get healed. But definitely you can go under significant transformation, and you might feel like you are burning like ashes, but believe me, you're going to come back like Phoenix, I promise. So you are going to get back your power soon. We're going to have March 14, full moon total lunar eclipse, and it's going to be in the opposite side from you. It's going to be in the 7th house. And here we have to talk about some pleasant situation, because the eclipses are really drawn to the nodes, right? It's and the total lunar eclipse, it's when the sun covering the moon and it's totally dark for either a few seconds or up to a minute. And usually I don't go out during total lunar eclipse, because it could bring in some kind of negative energy. So I do always, you know, moon dancing and full moon dancing, but not during the total lunar eclipse. However, and I don't even charge my crystals during that time. So, however, you have to know, it is a fated event. The lunar eclipse, it's a full moon on steroids. Okay, and this is a fated, unexpected event, which is turning out to be negative most of the time. It's an ending. It's bringing in an end. The solar eclipse is new moon on steroids. It's a fated, unexpected event, but usually it's turning out to be positive. So, for example, I'm just going to explain this way. For example, you get pregnant with the new full moon eclipse and you lose, for example, the baby, so it's a miscarriage. Or, for example, solar eclipse, you get pregnant, you didn't plan, but also it could be something like, okay, I didn't plan, but I'm very happy, so it's gonna change my life, and I'm so enthusiastic about that, so it's turns out to be positive. I just wanted to actually give you an example over here. It not necessarily mean this, and especially because you have that in the 7th house. 7th house is business partnership, it is collaboration, it is lawsuit, so you might going to lose a lawsuit. It could be also like your business partner was not necessarily honest, and you have to actually terminate the contract with someone, with the legal matters, terminate some kind of business there. In some places, it could bring a divorce for some people, right? Some Piscean people, especially for Pisces rising. Or, you know, it could also, you know, ending a relationship otherwise. Then, you know, it is a heartfelt decision over here, because of, you know, you have to it's something to end the relationship.